Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some spring books that I would like to read, some books that I'd like to read this spring, and I have a lot of thrillers on here and like one romance, but I'll definitely be reading more romance this spring, probably on audio or some books from my library. But I have a lot of thrillers to get to and just some other books that I would like to get to before summer starts. So we're going to get started off with a book that I am currently reading, and that is Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. And I am currently on page 147, and it's pretty good so far, but it hasn't really hooked me. But I'm still interested in finishing because I'm like not halfway through, but almost halfway through. And I got this in my November book of the month, and I'm trying to read all of my book of the months and keep up with them. And the tagline for this says, "Shouldn't a dead husband stay dead?" That's what really got me wanting this book. So Lila killed her husband and put his body in the car and put it in a parking lot, and then now just his car is there, but his body is not. And this is all in the synopsis. I'm not really giving spoilers, but it says, Lila is more confused because she was the last person to see her husband's body and now it's gone. So that's very intriguing, but you also do get the perspective from the detective in here, so that's not really something that I love, but still a pretty good book that I'm enjoying and hope to finish by the end of March. We have a little less than a week left. We have like 4 days of March left, but hoping to try to finish this weekend. All right, another book is a book that I've had for a very long time. It is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I don't know why I haven't got to this book yet. I've heard very good things about it. It is a domestic thriller, and it says the perfect marriage or the perfect lie. So it sounds very good. I've heard a lot of good reviews about it, and also looks like a really quick read, and I've heard it's a quick read. So I really want to get to that this spring. Another one is part of a series. It is You by Carolyn Kepnes, and I have read this before, and I have also read Hidden Bodies, but I would like to reread this and Hidden Bodies because the third one is coming out, You Love Me, and I believe it is coming out in April. So I definitely want to reread this and Hidden Bodies before the new book comes out in April, just to remind myself of a couple things. If you don't know what this is about Joe, who is obsessed with, now I forget the name from the first book. That's great. Oh, Guinevere. Yes, Joe and Guinevere. And it becomes a little crazy and twisted. So it's definitely crazy, but it was fun to read. So, and definitely, I think I read this before I watched it on Netflix, but I'm not sure the order now. But there's supposed to be a season 3 on Netflix, but definitely want to read the book before I watch the season 3. So that is You by Carolyn Kepnes. And the other one is Hidden Bodies. And then next is 2 books by Ruth Ware. The first one is The Death of Miss Westaway. I should be buddy reading this in April, so definitely will get that done, I hope. And these are the only 2 books of Ruth Ware, I'm pretty sure, of her backlist that I have not read. So very excited to knock these 2 books off of my list. The next one is The Woman in Cabin 10. The rain obviously gives it some spring vibes, and I've heard like mixed things about this one, but I want to get it done so I finish Ruth Ware's backlist. Another one is The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I have 2 Peter Swanson books here, and this is another one that I've had for a very long time and really want to get to this one. And I actually just reread the synopsis just a little bit ago before I started this video, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what it's about. So it sounds really good. Ted is in like not a great marriage, or kind of like bored of his marriage, and he's on a flight with Lily, and he kind of jokes around like, oh, I would like to kill my wife. And then Lily surprises him by saying she'd like to help. So then like Lily and Ted kind of become friends, I guess. And they both are having secrets, but Lily and Ted both have their own agendas. So sounds like a really good thriller, and I'm excited to read a book by Peter Swanson because I have not read anything by this author. I don't know how, but I'm excited to read this. Then the next one by Peter Swanson is his newest release, Every Value Break, and I have heard such good things about this book. It just came out this week, and I'm already seeing so many 5 stars. So that is good sign, I hope. And it kind of sounds a little bit like The Guest List, which I was not a big fan of. I mean, it was a good book, but it just disappointed me a little bit. But this book sounds really good with like, I think it's not a wedding. I think it's the couple's honeymoon. And yeah, a bride's dream honeymoon. I've heard only to read this part up here and not the whole synopsis. So I'll just read you this little part up here because that is what I heard to also only read. So it says, a bride's dream honeymoon becomes a nightmare when a man with whom she's had a regrettable one-night stand shows up with this electrifying physiological thriller from the acclaimed author of 8 Perfect Murders. So basically, this guy that she had a one-night stand with shows up at her honeymoon, and it goes from there. I'm very excited for this book, and I definitely want to do a Peter Swanson reading vlog with this, and I also have 8 Perfect Murders checked out from the library, so I feel like that would be a really good reading vlog or just like sit down video telling you about the Peter Swanson books that I've read. So definitely want to get to these soon. And then 2 more thrillers that I have. I have Too Good to Be True, and this was my March Book of the Month pick, and I'm pretty excited about this. I've seen a couple of good reviews, so definitely need to get to it after I finish Pretty Little Wife. I'll probably get to it. And it is 3 people's point of view, I believe. And it says 1 love story, 2 marriages, 3 versions of the truth. And it sounds like this character, Burke, is married, but is also in a relationship with this girl, Sky. So there's that perspective. And then it sounds like maybe another perspective from like Burke's ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, something like that, about Heather. So 3 perspectives, and can't wait to read this one as well. Too Good to Be True by Carola Lovering, I believe it is. And then the last one was a Book of the Month pick for June, but I did not get it in my box. I actually swapped for it. And that is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. And it is about 2 women going on this plane and switching identities. But I read in the synopsis that one of the plane crashes. I don't know if they switch identities, but they like switch tickets. And one of the plane crashes, and then the other woman is pretending to be the other woman, so we will see how that is. I've heard it's pretty fast-paced, so I definitely want to get to this one soon as well. So that is the last of the thrillers. Hopefully there's a good one in there, because I've read some thrillers this year, but they just have not been like my favorite thriller. So I hope there's some good ones in there. So another one is the only romance on here, but I obviously will read some more romance from the library, some audiobooks, and some new releases that are supposed to come out this spring. So it is The Bride Test by Helen Huang, and I have read The Kiss Quotient, which is the first book in this series, and then there's going to be a new book coming out, and I believe that one will be coming out in August, so I definitely want to read this one before the newest book comes out. And it is about this one boy. He doesn't really have any feelings, and he feels irritated when people move his things, or containment when ledgers balance down to the penny, and he doesn't experience big important emotions like love and grief. And then the girl, Esme Tran, has always felt out of place. When the opportunity to marry an American arises, she leaps to it, thinking that it could be the break her family needs. So Esme Tran comes over to America and meets this boy, and they eventually fall in love because it's a romance. So we will see how that one is. And then we have Homegoing, and I also want to read Transcendent Kingdom by this author as well, but I would like to read this one first. And then the next book I have is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and definitely want to read this one this spring. It is set in Alaska in 1974, and that's all I really want to know about it. But I'm excited to read some more about Alaska, and I've really been liking books set in the 70s recently, so I'm excited to read more about that time period. Then the next one is Writers and Lovers by Lily King, and this is about a girl in the summer of 1997, so I might read this kind of the end of spring. And it says here that, she has the determination to live a creative life, and it kind of shows, I think it's more character driven, like it just shows her living her life. So we will see if I like it, but I'm very interested in trying it. Then the last one that I have here is Miss Everything, and I don't know too much about this one, but I'm excited to get to this one. I have Big Summer by this author, so I want to read this one before I read Big Summer. So thank you for stopping by and hearing about the books that I would like to read this spring, and hearing about some of the books I would like to reread before the new releases come out. So that is all for today's video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I have a ton of videos ideas written down that I would like to do. And let me know if you would be interested in hearing about those books by Peter Swanson. And I believe my next video might be a library haul. We will see, but I definitely want to do that soon too. So thank you for stopping by my spring TBR, and have a great day.